So I don't look down. Every single one of you.
I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
I can't even see you because I don't look down.
I'm not leaving. The show goes on. This is my home. They're gonna need a wrecking ball to take me out of here.
Don't look down.
Good timing, everybody, whether it's morning, evening, or in between, wherever you are in the world today. Welcome to Unwrecked Traders. Before we begin, please hit the like and subscribe and join us to share ideas, strategies, and learn together to make better trades. This is not financial advice, nor am I a financial advisor. This is strictly my thoughts and ideas, so let's get that crypto. All right, everybody, jumping right into the Bitcoin weekly. Take a look at it right now. Price is just above the 20 weekly moving average. A lot of people consider this moving average as a bullish versus bearish indicator. So right now we are above it, indicating bullish according to some. If we do close down below it, we could be looking at coming down to the 50 here at 36,700. And if we do find this as support, then we could come back up to the 10 at 46,700. And I'm just going to come into, I'll take a quick look at the KISS indicators here. Keep it simple. On the Marcy, we're at the 50 right now. If this does find support here, again, we'd be looking to come back up to the 10. If it falls through, then we'd be looking at the 50. On the Stoke, we've been down since August 30th. And on the MACD, we're just starting to cross down. OBV, still positive, but it is slowly starting to come down. Once it crosses over, it'll be coming to the negative. And on the ADXDI, we are on the short, but we are still trending down. See if this can kind of loop back up. And going into the Whistler on the monthly. On the monthly, nothing's really changed. We're still in between our resistance of 48,700 and support of 33,400. So kind of just range bound in between here. The 20 quasi is still down below the range. So we would be looking at coming down to here, 27,000 as our possible target. However, we still have to get through support. So as of right now, on the monthly quasi, everything is still down. Coming in, looking at support as the range. Let's take a look at the weekly. On the weekly right now, we have resistance at 46,600, support at 35,000, and a possible target of 39,400 on the 50 moving average right here. So again, finding support on the 20. Once this does break down, we'll be looking at hitting here with the support at 35,000. And the 200 quasi is above the range, so this is pretty strong support still. However, you can see that the 100 has moved down into the range, and once it's moved into the range, this does become a possible target. However, this is still a very strong support, and until this breaks, we're not going to see this here at 24,000. So we do have this as a target, 39,400 with support. So price could come down to here, back up, and then down again. Retest the top of the Bollinger Band to see if it can break out and up into the 55,000 area. Going into the daily. All right, so going into the daily here. We have support at 36,000, let's say 37,000. Resistance at 43,300, bottom of the 50 Bollinger Band. This 20 here, bottom, technically is still a resistance, but it is starting to break. When it does break through, price is going to want to come to the possible target here, being 44,650. However, it does still have to get through the resistance. which currently is strong on the daily. So price could just come up, hit the 50, and continue further down. And that's kind of what it did here, more or less. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. All right, so on the 4 hour chart, this is actually a resistance right now. So let's change that to resistance. This will change pretty quickly, I'm sure. So because this is resistance, this will be our next support line down here at 39,750. And everything is still down. So this does look pretty positive hitting down here. We'll see what happens if we curl up. Once these do curl up, then we could see this will still be resistance for a little bit. And the 100, the reason why I have a possible target on the 100 here at 44,700 is price did move up here. And when it did come through, then this did become a possible target. However, you can see it got rejected at the 20. When it got rejected at the 20, it came back down. And this is just below the range now. So it's possible this could move back up. And doing so would give us this. However, the 200 looks like it's pretty strong resistance. And when we're in a bull trend, we can see the price typically comes to the 200, bounces off it, 200 bounces off it. And the same thing with the 20s and 50s. So we'll go into the 1 hour. And looking at the 1 hour right now, it's changed a little bit since I put them on. So right now, this is actually resistance again. 50 is below the range. So this is actually resistance. So let's just clone this one, bring it down, call it resistance. We still have the resistance here as well. And then our support would be down here at 40,500 on this white 3.2 standard deviation of the Bollinger Band. So 40,500. And however, you can see that the 10 here is coming up pretty fast, pretty hard. I'm suspecting once it gets into the range, price is going to want to come up to here pretty quickly at 42,000 area. So the only way this won't is if this continues to push down fast, and then it just kind of meets up with it in and around here, which is very possible. 100 remaining as resistance and then pushing it down further. So we'll see how that plays out. But as of right now, 1 hour kind of seems like it wants to come up to at least the 41,900 area. So we'll see if it gets there. Zooming out onto the daily, we're going to go into the traders. All right, so well, let's take a look at the weekly, and we'll get rid of those. So right now, this is kind of the channel that we're in on the higher time frames. It comes back to January 8th, which was resistance, support, came up to the higher part, mark that out. And then we have confirmation that this is our channel here. So it actually kind of looked like this. There's our channel before any of this developed. Then once it's got the secondary, we know that we're in this channel. So right now we're kind of in a range, and let's measure this just between here. So in between this range right now, we kind of have a 12% range on the pulse, kind of coming down a little bit. And it is coming down as well on the slower pulse. Our RSI is down, kind of coming into last bearish control point here. If it pushes down, then bulls will be full control going down for the touchdown zone. Let's take a look at higher time frames on the quarterly and the yearly, and get rid of that fib channel. So right now we still have a naked yearly, which is at 20,800, 21,000 area, or the 3 quarterly S1. We found lots of support on the previous year high, which was our last bounce, which brought us up into the quarterly range here. Quarterly range tried to break out. Let's see if it did hit the midpoint. I can't remember if it did or not. So yeah, just a little above the midpoint. Got rejected back into the zone. So this is a no trade zone on the quarterly, waiting to see which way it's going to break up or break down. And let's take a look into the lower time frames, and we'll come down to the 1 hour. Remove the higher time frames. Look at the monthly. I'm just going to shut off the weekly and daily for right this second. Put on the previous month high and low. All right, so right now this is the monthly range that we've been in since basically September 1st, obviously. We opened above the range. Price moved up to the previous month high, which was here. Found resistance, kind of played around in this area, broke through up to the monthly R1. This was still a naked monthly. Once it hit the R1, got rejected, right into the zone or range. Tried to break out again, and I believe this one actually was midpoint here. So it hit the midpoint, which is pretty strong area as well. Got rejected, straight down through to the monthly S1. So if you saw this and you got it, it was a nice 20% move. Anyways, back into the range. Now we're down again. We'll be looking for monthly S1. I believe we're below the midpoint here. We'll see. Yeah, so we are below the midpoint. So right now, nice little level of support, depending on how this breaks. And I think we can throw in our trend lines here. On our trend lines, we have our major trend line coming down, supporting trend line here, another resistance trend line. So depending on how this breaks, could come back up to here, back down. We are looking at a new monthly in a couple of days. That new monthly range is currently sitting in this area here at 44,600. So it looks like it will open below currently. If it does, it probably come for the previous month low here at 39.5, possibly lower, and then come back into the naked range if it remains naked. If it doesn't, price could literally just come straight up into it, and then we'll go from there. Let's take a look at the weekly. And we'll get rid of our trend line so it's not so confusing. So right now on the weekly, price did actually open below the weekly. It didn't come down to try and find the previous week low or the weekly R1. Shot right up, kind of came into the monthly range, found resistance, and then back down. And let's take a look to see if it hit the midpoint or not. So it kind of came down to the midpoint, found support, tried to break through it, couldn't, and now we're just kind of in this little area here, still at the midpoint. Likely it's going to want to come down to the weekly S1, monthly R1, or monthly S1, sorry, which would be at the 39,500 area, and then come back up into the naked monthly. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll bring up the daily as well. And new daily open is in approximately, well, let's just say 6, not even 5.5 hours, let's say. So on the daily, not too much has happened. Daily opened below, came into the previous day low, which I'm sure that's what it is. So pretty much previous day low, got rejected, back up into the naked daily, up to the daily R1. Tried for previous day high, failed. And again, I'm sure this is the midpoint of where it failed, which it is. Failed at the midpoint, came down to the daily range, and now we're kind of breaking through it. So if we stay below this range, it's going to come down to the previous day low, and then daily S1 if it can make it down to the 40,300. So any trades on the daily right now, I'd be looking for anything above 41,800 and anything below 41,300. So anything above the 800, we're looking for the daily R1. Anything below here, we're looking for the previous day low. Our future daily is kind of break even. It's got a smaller range, so it'll be a little more explosive than this day. So we'll see how it plays out. But I would be looking myself right now, based on how things look, for a previous day low, up into the daily, fluctuate in and around here. It's not going to want to leave this area too much because it has come back into here. And if it does come back into here, just for this one range here, we're looking for, that's basically an 8% move for where it is right now. So it's not going to want to leave this range too much until it hits in here. Anyways, that's the TA for today, guys. Hopefully you liked it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.